Hi, my name is Harish Walavalkar, and I'm an executive coach and the author of the book How to Talk Like a CEO. Today, we're going to attempt to solve the puzzle. Is it possible to be genuinely happy? Or is that just another mission impossible? My coaches have forced me to give my views on how to be happy. My coaches range from job seekers, those without jobs, to established and successful CEOs, those with no salary, to those with a crore plus package and yet struggling to be happy. So here I am presenting my views on happiness. But first, you must understand the difference between existential happy and temporal happy. You see, we have been conditioned from childhood by our parents, teachers, school, colleges, and also the corporates to perceive temporal happy. Material wealth is an example. When you get material wealth, sure, it makes you happy, but that's temporary. Existential happy, this is what we all are seeking in reality. We are not seeking temporal happy, we all are seeking existential happy, but we just don't know. So, how to find existential happy? For this, I'm going to share with you three data points. Firstly, the story of the happiest man on the planet. Secondly, the views of billionaires like Jeff Bezos, Ken Honda, Grant Cardone. And thirdly, I'm going to share with you a very interesting research by Adam Grant from the University of Waterloo. Matthew Ricard, as a child, was born to extremely successful parents. Because his parents were very successful, naturally they had a lot of visitors, other successful people from across the country in France. Matthew Ricard observed that in spite of all the wealth and the power and the fame of his visitors, nobody seemed to be happy. Now Matthew Ricard grows up, finishes college, is now pursuing PhD, molecular biology. On one of his holidays, he comes to India. He's having chai on the street. He starts a conversation with some Tibetan monks on the street. The conversation has an impact on Matthew Ricard. He goes back to France, finishes his PhD, takes up a job as a scientist, but he just cannot forget the Tibetan monks. One day, he resigns from his job, goes to Tibet, and becomes a monk. After some time, his other scientist friends contact Matthew Ricard and they ask him, but can we come and measure you? We are doing a research on happiness around the world. Matthew says, sure. So the scientist friends visit Matthew Ricard, they connect him to their machines and they are measuring his happiness levels. What do they see? An insanely high levels of happiness they had seen like none other anywhere else on the planet. So they label him as the happiest man on the planet. But they're also pleading with him, Matthew, please tell us, what were you thinking when we were measuring you? Why were you so happy? And Matthew said, oh, I was just wishing you well. So you see, when you wish others well, you experience an extremely high levels of existential happy, not temporal happy, existential happy. And that is much more longer lasting. You feel much more fulfilled, satisfied with life, more happy. Data number 2. Jeff Bezos, Ken Honda, and Grant Cardone. These are billionaires from different parts of the planet. Jeff was once asked by an interviewer when he first became a billionaire, Jeff, how does it feel to be a billionaire? Jeff said, you must understand that I have first made around $800 million of wealth for a whole system, and in the process I made my $1 billion. Are you getting the wisdom? If not, you must read Ken Honda's book Happy Money. But Grant Cardone summarized it really well. Grant said that one day I realized I'm not going to be a millionaire unless I make somebody else a millionaire first. You got the wisdom? Most of us think like this. When I make money, I'm going to help my family members. When I make a lot of wealth, I'm going to do charity. Apparently, you cannot be successful unless if you make somebody else successful first. That is what Jeff, Ken Honda, Grant Cardone, and other billionaires are saying. That is the secret to super success. So if you want to be successful, you got to make somebody else successful first. Let's park this wisdom and go to the third data. This is a very interesting research done by Adam Grant, where he found that there are three types of people. givers, matchers, takers. And then what he did is he divided each typical organization in three levels: the junior level, the mid level, and the senior level. And he found that in each of these levels, one type of people were in the majority. Each level had all the three types of people, but each level had one type of people as a majority. When he researched, he found that in the junior levels, there are a lot of givers. What are givers? Givers are the ones who love to give, who love to help others, even if it is compromising on their own work. This is a giver. So he found a lot of givers at the junior levels. At the mid level, he found a lot of matchers. What are matchers? Matchers are the ones who match. So if somebody does good to you, a matcher will give back in a good way. If somebody does bad to a matcher will give back in a bad way. A matcher likes to match good deed with good deed, bad deed with bad deed. A taker, on the other hand, is somebody who doesn't mind taking with no guilt, no conscience issues. That is the personality of a taker. Adam Grant found at the top managerial level. Let me ask you, what's your guess? Whom did he find there? Givers, matchers, takers? Well, he found givers again, comprising and making the majority of the people at senior managerial levels. So this is really surprising and shocking. We can understand the givers at the junior levels getting stuck there because they're helping people, they're compromising on their own work, they're doing service for others, getting stuck at the junior levels. We can understand that. Matchers find the match, so they're at the mid levels. But shouldn't the takers be at the top managerial level? It turns out that the takers did reach the top managerial levels, but the matchers made sure they don't last there. Every opportunity the matchers got to pull the takers down, that is exactly what the matchers did. But then how did the givers end up at the top managerial levels? Once again, because of the matchers. The matchers made sure the givers are the one whose names are getting nominated for interesting projects, promotions. And once the giver is there at the top managerial levels, the matchers make sure that the givers stay there. So what's the learning? From the Adam Grant's research, we can learn that we need to make friends, not enemies. From the Jeff Bezos, Ken Honda, Grant Cardone wisdom, we learn that if you want to be successful, you've got to make somebody else successful first. And from the happiest man on the planet, we learn that genuine happiness comes by wishing well for others. It doesn't come if you're pursuing happiness for yourself. It comes when you give happiness to others. What does that teach us? It teaches us to pursue existential happy, not temporal happy, which is contradictory to all the conditioning that we have had for ages. And that's why it is tough, because we have been conditioned by our schools, colleges, and corporates. The rewards program, for example, rewards you for pursuing material wealth. When you buy a car, you feel fulfilled, but temporarily, because that is temporal happy. When you make somebody else happy, that feeling lasts longer. You should be pursuing that kind of happy. That is how you can make happiness a possibility in your life.